Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks to all the witnesses for being here today and sharing your testimony. I want to direct my questions toward Ms. Mears. As we talked before the hearing, I can really relate to your testimony. You and I have taken what we've learned in our years in law enforcement to serve our communities in a new way. And there are a couple of things that I've learned in my law enforcement career and here in Congress is that perseverance is one of those attributes that helps me be successful here, and also a very keen attention to facts. And I know that you have those same two qualities, and they are needed desperately for you, I know, to be successful in the operation of your small business. So I've admired how you've used your skills from your 20 years of law enforcement, so thank you for your service to your community in that regard. So just a couple of questions. First, could you describe the biggest challenges you faced when setting up your business?
The biggest challenge that I faced, I'm sorry, finish the last part. I didn't.
When you set up the business, when you started?
When I set up the biggest challenge that I faced was two-part, and that was adding employees. For me, also meant adding equipment. So if I add a sewing machine or embroidery machine, or I added an outside salesperson and I had to purchase samples in order for the person to go visit customers, it's twofold. I'm buying items for my company, and I'm also hiring an employee to go with those items, and vice versa. If I find myself growing at a fast rate, which is something that I faced both times, I have to build that infrastructure before I get to the point where the revenue supports it. And I probably don't fall in that risk-adverse category, obviously. So I have to make those expenses prior to having the revenue support it. So the biggest challenge that I have is being able to fund the employees that I have to hire to support the growth and infrastructure that I have, and then also get the equipment to go with it, because they need a computer and a desk and a chair and other products to support the job.
And is there anything that you could identify today as an update in the tax code that could have helped you in that transition in acquiring property and hiring employees?
Yeah, as I referenced, I think the ability to write off more or write off the full expense of the items that we are buying and paying cash for in that year would definitely help me reinvest. In fact, if I am able to write off some of the larger machines that I purchase, that can actually support a part-time person to run the machine at the same time.
Okay. And then the last question I want to have you focus on is, now that you are starting your second business, or you're in the middle of your second business, and you've mentioned some things already as far as what can best help you now continue to grow your business, a simplified tax code, a lower tax rate. I want to give you a couple minutes to expand on those ideas, and if there's any other thoughts that you might be able to provide, and how we might better assist you in the tax code in growing your business.
So I think one of the things, obviously, cash is king, and when you're growing a business, you don't have it. It's just not there.
Yeah.
And so you have to be very creative. You have to have that perseverance, and you have to have the attention to detail. And one little slip, as Rebecca had mentioned, one little slip, and a lot of businesses may not survive. That $86,000 tax bill that she had, there's a lot of businesses that wouldn't survive that. I actually had that happen to me, and I wasn't sure I was going to survive it. So having to make payments and pay our taxes on the revenue that we are earning while we're trying to grow our business within the same year, having to make those tax payments on any revenue or profit that we make is what is scaring me as I grow my business. Because right now, I'm not as challenged, but I know from my previous venture that as I grow into the more multiple millions of dollars and I continue to earn the revenue, having to pay that tax up front on top of hiring a new person, bringing into the equipment, any marketing, any funds that I need to support that, at the end of the day, there's just nothing left for me and my family.
So very quickly, Mr. Chairman, this committee is focused on trying to create an opportunity for businesses to grow, and I think you'll find that as a bipartisan effort. Mr. Kind and I are working on two bills that hopefully will help. Mr. Kind and I have also introduced legislation to promote employee ownership and provide greater retirement security through through legislation that encourages the creation of more S corporation ESOPs. And I don't have time to go into the second bill, but I yield back. Thank you. Thank you for your testimony.